Good afternoon, everybody, and a very warm welcome to Berringer Districts. And today I have a layout update for you. And we'll start here in the town scene today, because there's some bits to show you before we go off and get to the main part of the update. So today, being Sunday the 16th of July, I went to the autumn bus rally today, and I took a ride on one of my favourite buses today that happened to be there. And basically, that particular bus was this one, B69 WUL, or M1069 as it was known. M standing for Metrobus. So I went to the autumn bus rally and I had a little ride on it, and I sat in my favourite seat, which is right in the corner, right at the very back. So it's a bit of nostalgia for me. I think I touched on this briefly before, because when I was a kid, this bus used to run on the 91 from time to time, and I used to ride on it, and on that particular spot. So all these years later, I ended up having a little ride on it today. Not in this livery, it was in its London Buses red livery. I'm looking a bit on the tatty side, to be truthful with you, but it was nice to see the bus, and it's nice to see that it's still around, because there's not many of them around. And I picked up a couple of bits and pieces whilst I was there. Now, the first piece I picked up is right behind the Metrobus, which is a Plaxton Paramount, which I thought suited the layout really well. Again, I have fond memories of these particular coaches. I've always liked them in terms of how they look. In terms of when I was a kid, I used to travel on these a lot again. To go to model railway exhibitions, I used to go to Victoria and catch a coach and go off to God knows where, to various model railway exhibitions around the country, and I always used to travel on that express. And I used to travel on these Plaxton Paramounts as well, as well as the premieres. And I always liked the look of these things, and this particular Plaxton Paramount and its age, it relates well to the age of the era that I'm portraying on this part of the layout. It fits in really, really well with the vehicles that I've got here. I do have a Van Hool, I think it's a Scania, which you have seen previously before, but this was another one that I saw. And like I said, I managed to find this one at the exhibition, so it saves me having to pay the cost of postage on top of the cost of the actual item. So that's really, really cool. So I'm really, really pleased with that, and it's a really nice little addition. It's the 540 to Colne, but I'm not sure where that is. On the back, that's what the back looks like. If I just give you a back view, just so you can have a sort of butchers of what it looks like. So that sits in there nicely. So this is just a brief stopover for it to pick up a few more passengers before it carries on its onward journey. So that's kind of why that's sat there. Now, at the other end of the layout, at the full yard end, I've picked up this also from the Model Railway exhibition today. So I've just stored it here, because this is towards Volmer. So I've got 3 lorries here. I think I've showed you the others before, which is the Sam Skip one here, and then I've also got an empty Freightliner one at the back there. So I've got 3 lorries for Volmer. This one is basically I got today, and once again I saved myself the money on the postage by buying it at the bus rally. And this will fit in nicely. It's a DAF, and it will fit in nicely with Volmer very well, and also for my pre-order of the Maritime 66 when that eventually turns up, which I'm assuming is, well, I've been told it's January, February next year, but we'll wait and see. As we all know, with pre-orders, they tend to sort of turn up when they turn up. But anywho, I thought, well, I'll get this, because otherwise, if I wait till then, it'll probably disappear and you won't be able to get hold of it. So, and it'll fit in really nicely with Volmer when Volmer eventually gets completed and gets built, which is going to be a little while longer yet. So the main crux of my layout update is basically at this end of the layout, and as you can see, This is the second fascia, or the first fascia, maybe I should say, because this is one that I originally started building before I built the other one, and I've since finished the other one, and this one I'm still currently working on. And as you can sort of see, if I show it to you head on, it was kind of with the view of the Dover Western Marine, kind of loosely based on that. And again, I'm still currently working on it. Now, if we start on the right hand side, we'll start here. That particular building was the old building I built for Moorwood Station, some of you may remember. And basically I butchered it down to make it into a slightly, it's a more low relief building now, and also it's actually slightly shorter than it was before, because I wanted to keep the height. Right, if you can sort of see the height there of the canopy just behind there, I wanted it to keep it in line with that, so I didn't want this one to be higher, and then you can see a blatant step down. So I wanted to try and keep it as level as possible. So I had to, in order to do that, I had to basically cut down the height of the building behind there. And like I said, that was originally the original building that I put through at Moorwood, when I originally did Moorwood. Well, actually probably not really the originally, it's probably like the middle incarnation of Moorwood, because there's quite a few incarnations of Moorwood. So but anyway, that was the old building, and I wanted to reuse it, and it fit really, really nicely here. It just needed a bit of working in, so that's what I've done. It's also features lighting, and the lighting actually works on that side. However, there is no lighting on this canopy or that canopy. These two canopies were only finished last night, but the wiring is basically going to go through the fascia and basically leapfrog the arches, and then it will meet up with the wiring at the back down the bottom there. So that's when it will get lit up. Although if I show you, where is it? Bear with me a second. I've got a mirror here. If I show you the mirror, you can sort of see what the underneath looks like. And as you can see, like the stems are protruding through the wood that runs underneath the moulding, and then you've got the two holes, and one at each end, and that will be for the two bulbs, two lights, and basically then the hole at the end will feed the wires through there, and then that will go into the fascia and then leapfrog, like I said before, the two arches, and connect to the rest of the lighting. So this will be lit within a matter of days or so, I should imagine, or a week. It depends how quickly I get on with the fascia, because that's really what's holding the lighting up at the moment. I've moved it on a bit, but I haven't, obviously, like, as you can see, I'm nowhere near finished. If I just take you quickly around the back, you can see that I haven't really done the back at all, but I'll get onto that in a minute. So I've done the two canopies. I've painted the poles. I've added these mirrors, which I scratch built for the drivers. That little building there in the middle, that is an old Metcalfe building. I had an old signal box, and that was seen better days, and the top was a bit wrecked, so I chopped the top off and basically clad the top like this, that card, painted it and ribbed it so it matches everything else, even though you don't really see it. And basically I also had some leftover plasticard of brick, so I then clad that, and so I basically just created a little building out of the bottom portion of that. And it sits quite nicely, and it's just kind of probably used as like a storage of some description of some other things. I've kind of tidied this up. I've done this end here as well. I've put like a little retaining wall, some security fencing. This is going to be a little parcel depot with the parcel with the brute trolleys there. You've got a forklift in the corner there, and I've also done some more corrugated fencing. So that's also been done. I've also added some signage here and there just a few bits. I've also added the Welcome to Berringer sign here and a tuft of grass. Also added some relay boxes here and here. And then after, obviously on the building, I've added the Berringer sign. And in the middle, I'll be probably adding maybe a billboard here and another Berringer kind of station name board. So it's kind of, and I've also got to add the platform numbers as well on these two as well. Well, actually on all three of them, because because I did these last night, the poles were still drying. So obviously I had to let it dry overnight, and then after I can sort of do that today if I wish. It kind of depends on my mood really. So that's pretty much what I've been up to, and it's been pretty time consuming. Pretty much this bit has been, because it's just a bit more awkward, and even this one has. It's just, I mean, this is the most simple one to do, but they all take time to do. Now, what I'm going to do is, I don't think I particularly answered Simon's question a little while back about how I made these properly. So I just wanted to quickly run through it. Basically, this is not paper, it's card, it's mount board. And this mount board is just standard cheap mount board that you get from Hobbycraft. And I pay about £3 a sheet or something like that. And it's a big sheet. I've actually still got another big sheet to go through, which will probably do the canopies over here. And as you can see in front of you, this is some of the bits and pieces that I use to make this particular fascia. And you've got a piece here. It's just like a kit really, and it's just, you just keep layering it on like that, and then that gives you you know, the pillar and an arch. And basically you just keep using these things just as basically just to keep layering it. And also that's going to go up there, and that will be the same as on this one. It's just going to be like I'm going to paint the back out in black, and then I have to create like a little window. So this is only going to be just the one on this one. I was going to go for two, but it just seems too narrow, and then it just seems like it's just not going to look right. So I just thought we'd probably have a little centerpiece. And if I just show you, just by adding just that one layer, how much of a difference it makes, you can just see already. And then what I'll do is I'll add another layer on top of that to create the arch. So, and that will bend that round, and that arch will, like I said, will be like this. So you just have another arch, and then you'll have another layer, which being the plastic card. And the plastic card being these sheets here. And it is for 20 coarse stones. I think I've gone through some of this before, so I won't sort of dilly-dally over it too much. Also, for the platforms, to do the ends, I use the SSMP 216 corrugated iron, and it comes in these square sheets, as you can see, by these rectangular sheets, as you can see. And then also, as you can see here, there's a strip that I've got cut off, ready to be used, so that will be used on one of the other ones when I make the next set of canopies for here. So that's also what I use. For the pillars, I use this brass tubing from my local model shop, so you can get all the codes and that off of that. And basically, the reason why I use this particular one is originally it actually fits a track fixing pin on there, and you can actually use that to put to basically rest the canopy on top. And if I just show you briefly, because I've still got the old one from Morwood. Some of you may remember this canopy that I did at Morwood. That was the original one I had, one of the ones I had at Morwood. Now you see where I've got the track fixing pins still attached, and those track fixing pins slot into that brass tubing, into that hole, so you can sit it on top of that. So that's one method of attaching it. But what I did on this occasion is I used the mouldings, which I bought from Wicks's, and I did it that way around. So if I just give you another quick look, as you can sort of see, you can see that there's the moulding that runs across, and then after I've drilled a hole and then just pop that through. So that's another way of attaching it. I mean, you can still lift the top off because it's not the moulding's secure to the roof on this one. But so I'm going to release that, and then I have to put the LED, well, put the bulbs in, and then I have to feed the wiring through. So that's another thing. So that's what I use that. Now before, I did prime these, and it didn't really make too much of a difference whether I primed them or not. For some reason the adhesion on the paint I don't think was any better by priming it, and I ran out of primer, so I thought, well, I'm going to just test it and just paint straight on it. So it's on there, so we'll see how long it lasts. And it seems to be okay. I mean, I'm not planning on removing the canopies very often, so it's just once I attach these LEDs, oh well, sorry, I keep saying LEDs, but they're not, they're just bulbs. Once I attach these bulbs, then basically we're good to go, really. So we'll attach that through the two holes. That end will come through the fascia, and then, like I said, it will just go up and over until it meets the other end and connects to the rest of the unit. The other thing I do use is this Yoo-hoo glue. Go to Poundland, I go through tons of this stuff. Really, it's like I go through this like it's going out of fashion. It's the same as the card. I just go through so much of that. And also I have a 10p which I've just used, and I've used that for creating the hole for the basically for the window. So I've just used that, just draw around it, cut through it, so that will create the hole for that. And I've also got this building here. So this is one of the other buildings that I was using at Moorwood for a period. So I always kind of think, oh, it's such a shame to waste it, because I went through all the bother of making it. So I try and sort of see if I can reuse it. So like I said, I reused the other one here. So I'm not sure how I'm going to reuse this one. I'm not really too sure how that's going to work out. I might try and reuse it. I was thinking of maybe using it in the middle, because I'm going to be doing something in the middle, but I'm not sure exactly. So that's pretty much where we're at with this. But I can see sort of light at the end of the tunnel, as it were. I mean, it's coming along really, really well. I've also got to do like the stained glass, well, not really stained glass, but the panel glass, like on the other side. I'll show you quickly. So I've got that to do on the other side as well. The card's already there. It's just, and I've got the acetate to use, so I'll be doing that for that side as well. So hopefully we'll get through that as well. None of these jobs are particularly hard as such. They're just all more time consuming more than anything else. And I've also made a start on filling some of these some of the gaps before painting. So I've done that on that side, and there's some on that side, and there'll probably be more to do. So, but it's all coming along nicely. It's creating a nice effect. So what I'll do is, before I love you and leave you, I'll switch on the lights, and you can see what it's like on this side, on platform 5. But obviously there's no lighting on these two just yet. So here we go. It actually creates a really nice effect at night. It really looks lovely at night. The lighting on this I actually put onto the building. I didn't actually put onto the mouldings on this one, because it was easier actually, because then you won't see any wiring hanging down or anything like that. So it's just easier to put it into the building, and then obviously you could just sort of hide it away in the back, which is really, really good. So yeah, that's where we're at with that. And well, I'll get back to you when I've got more to show you and as this progresses. Any questions, please feel free to ask, and I will get back to you with the answers to that, and I'll get back to you with another update as soon as I can. So I'll just leave you with a sort of head-on shot as what to expect. I haven't actually done any test running. This is something I need to do, some test running along here, just to make sure. I mean, I did some test. I don't believe for 1 minute that there's going to be any problems with trains in terms of knocking the canopies or anything, but we'll see. So anyway, that's what we have so far. So thanks for watching. Please feel free to comment and subscribe, and I will speak to you all soon. Bye for now. Here we are at the bus rally, and this particular bus is the one that's on my layout. in the colourful livery, and I used to travel on this bus all the time, and I'm going to get to travel on it again today, and I'm so super excited. B69 WUL, and it used to run out of Fulwell Garage. It's showing route 281, which used to run to Tolworth, and I used to ride on it on the 91 when it was running on the 91 between Hounslow West and Wandsworth Bridge. So we're going to have a go on this bus in a little while, so I'm really looking forward to it. So I'll see you in a little while.